It's just typical.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Nice
Thank
to
you.
meet
You too.
It's Lawrence,
Lawrence, yeah.
Tem que ir.
Obrigada.
Sucesso,
Sucesso,
parabéns.
parabéns.
Você também.
Muito bom. A gente se vê ano que vem.
You do the coffee show, don't you? You do the
Yeah.
coffee show.
Yeah.
You definitely need to play my song. I love coffee culture. It's all about the ritual of drinking coffee.
Oh, I
And
love
Brazil
coffee.
is all about
British,
coffee as well. So
yeah.
that's another Brazilian stuff.
Yeah.
I should
Hey,
put- I
okay,
should do that in
look,
Portuguese.
coffee.
That's a nice
Levou lá, tá esquecendo.
Vou levar,
Ah,
não.
tá.
Se vocês forem pra Suécia,
Estocolmo.
quiserem ir também, vocês me avisam.
Beleza.
Pode deixar. O Neto, ele já vai.
Ah, vai, meu irmão. Vai com Deus. Obrigado. Tamo junto. Valeu, viu?
Keeping
Hoje nós
left
não vamos
on-
conseguir
keeping
deixar
left on his
ele
own.
também.
Sucesso lá, viu? Você falou lá pro pessoal do Rodízio Brasil que você tinha vindo na rádio?
Falei.
Aê, estamos ao vivo! Estamos ao vivo aqui na programação da Rádio Mais Brasil UK, meio-dia e 10, aqui na nossa rádio. Vem comigo, sextou, bebê! Fala comigo, vem comigo na programação, tá tudo bom, tá tudo lindo, é sexta-feira! Boa, pra você ligado aí, vem comigo nas ondas sonoras da Rádio Mais Brasil UK, na sintonia, pra você ligado aqui no canal do YouTube, já dá aquele like, já chega dando aquela moral pra gente aqui, porque hoje o bicho pega desde cedo aí, né, com muita música, muita alegria, e agora ainda muito mais aqui no Lunchtime Show, comigo, Neto Brasil, aqui no nosso Lunchtime Show de sexta-feira, 27 de outubro de 23. Hoje vamos ter muita coisa boa aqui no programa, vamos ter sorteio aqui de um jantar, vamos bater um papo aqui com a galera daqui a pouquinho também, vamos ter aí também recados aqui da comunidade brasileira, vou colocar também aqui alguns ingleses para falar com a gente, né, vamos ter o John aqui para falar sobre novidade aí, né, vai falar sobre o maior brasileiro de todos os tempos, o Rei Pelé, daqui a pouquinho aqui na programação. Vamos ter o Mac aqui também, que é um inglês também, que vai trazer aí sobre música brasileira. Gente, hoje o programa tá imperdível, você não pode perder, já manda pra galera, já fala pro povo que eu tô no ar, fala pro povo que eu tô ao vivo. Neto Brasil, esse é o meu, o seu e o nosso Lunchtime Show. Aumenta o volume, aumenta o som, vamos de música. Sexta-feira, sua linda. Como toda sexta-feira a gente tem que tocar ao vivo no YouTube, ao vivo nos aplicativos, ao vivo na rádio. Vem comigo, Rádio Mais Brasil UK, a sua rádio brasileira no Reino Unido. Vem! aqui no Reino Unido. Você que está comigo, chega mais. Você que está aí no canal do YouTube, já chega chegando. Se inscreva e dá aquela moral. Na pegada. Obrigado aqui pelas mensagens aí. Muito obrigado. 12h20. Eu vou ligar ali. Daqui a pouquinho nós vamos falar... hoje nós vamos ter aqui o John, né? O John, sobrenome dele, que é o John Crystal, né? Que tá aqui com a gente. Vai falar aqui daqui a pouquinho. He's gonna share a song for us for the first time on a Brazilian radio. A música sobre o Rei Pelé, que ele vai trazer pra gente ao vivo aqui e vai contar toda a história por trás disso. Também vamos ter aqui o nosso querido Honor, né? Ele que vai falar com a gente lá da Turquia, ao vivo aqui, para falar mais sobre as facetas dentárias, tá, gente? Eu tenho certeza que vocês vão tirar muitas dúvidas aqui. E teremos um grande sorteio aí em prol das semeadores de Maratane. Vocês já ouviram aqui na rádio sobre semeadores de Maratane e eu tenho certeza que vai também ajudar essa causa aí, como a rádio tem apoiado aí desde quando o Marcelo Colombo, meu amigo, veio aqui há alguns meses atrás, beleza? Mas enquanto isso, eu já vou então aqui, né, já dando aquele boa tarde, aquele good afternoon pro meu parceiro aqui, o John Crystal, que tá aqui com a gente aqui. Good afternoon, John. Thank you for coming. Please talk very close to this mic if you want to push it your way, yeah. That's it, very close to the mic. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. We're going to talk about the biggest Brazilian of all times. That's it. Very, very close. If you get closer, if you want to adjust it, if you put it up a bit. Okay. Please. Just so we get the best quality for the Brazilians around the UK listening now from everywhere. John Crystal, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Bom dia, Neto.
Bom dia, amigo.
Well, bom dia a todos os ouvintes.
You speak a good Portuguese already, or a bit of Spanish mixed with Portuguese.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Did you learn Spanish at all? Or?
Yeah, my parents are both Spanish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you speak Spanish?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So it's very similar to Portuguese.
Yeah,
You speak most,
similar.
so you understand most words. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So how did you get on with start listening about Brazil? Obviously, as a kid, and I guess you always kind of amused about Brazilian culture, is that right?
Yeah, so basically when I was a kid, my parents had moved to the UK from Spain, and in those days, there wasn't a lot of television, but when it was on, we watched a lot of football, and obviously Brazil was really right at the top of its game, I'm sure as it is today, but in those days...
No, not today. No, we're not on top of the game today at all. Back in the day, yes.
I've got to be polite. But yeah, they were
You're trying to be polite. No, don't be. Don't worry about it, mate.
But they were fantastic. Brazil was the best team in the world. And I guess if you think of...
What are we saying, 1970, when Brazil won the third World Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. In the 60s when Pelé was still a young guy, absolutely, such a great player.
Yeah. And then from then on, you thought, one day I want to do something to do with Brazil, or you never thought about it? Because now you're going to start properly, engaging with Brazilians with the songs, and obviously you're probably going to do a bit more about Brazil, aren't you?
Sure.
Yeah.
So what happened is I actually took up the guitar, learning guitar about 10, 12 months ago. I'm absolutely rubbish at playing guitar, I have to tell you, so that's why...
Yeah, but you've got to start somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And I guess within about 8 weeks of starting to learn the guitar, I decided I was going to write a song. So I wrote my first song, which actually is a song about my wife. It's a love song about my wife.
Really?
Yeah. So
when was that? The first song?
The first song was all about my wife.
But when was it?
This was about back in February.
Oh, okay. So your first ever song, the one that you first ever wrote, was only this year?
It was only this year.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was this year.
Okay, and then you did a love song, and then
so I did a love song, and then I actually then decided to write a song about Pelé. It was my second song.
Why?
Why? So, as I said, when I was a kid, Pelé was absolutely the player to watch.
Yeah.
And I think when you watch Brazil in the fantastic colours, the yellow and blue, they're just a great combination.
Yeah.
And when you watch Pelé, he's not like a lot of other great footballers. He is very humble.
Yeah.
And yet he has this fantastic skill. And it was just magic to watch him. And as a kid, you know, you have sort of certain heroes, don't you, that you look up to.
Yeah.
And Pele was definitely one of my, you know, football idols.
Was
The football idol.
Pele? He was your idol, but back so people can understand
Sure.
how big Pele was in UK. Was it that big?
I think he was.
Yeah.
Because I think Brazil as a team, because they'd won the World Cup, with such style. I think people just recognised them immediately, and Pele was like the hero for everybody in those days. And,
Yeah.
you know, I was probably 3, 4, 5-year-old when I really started to appreciate.
And Pele
Yeah.
was always in UK. He was always in England doing some sort of marketing. He was always here, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I understand he really loved the UK, he liked the culture, and I
Yeah.
think he appreciated what the UK, particularly in those days, had to offer compared to, say, you know, some very poor, humble backgrounds that he'd come from himself. So
Yeah.
I think he respected that.
Have you ever met Pele?
Unfortunately not.
No.
I wish I had.
Have you ever been to like any kind of event he was in back in the day? No. Because he used to come a lot to Wembley. I remember he used to like do like events and you know, talk about football and maybe just to come for an appearance, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then obviously later in the years he only came a few times, you know, in a few years. So yeah, that's brilliant. So a British man from where were you born?
I was actually born in England.
Whereabouts?
in a town called Chichester.
Chichester.
In West Sussex.
That's my way, man.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I live in Southampton, but it's only an hour away. Not
That's
even
right,
that. Yeah. Chichester.
Yeah.
You got a nice beach in there.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice beaches. Yeah, very good. Very sandy beaches. So a very nice place to go.
Very nice. Yeah, Pele's from a sandy beach place as well, Santos.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. so about the song, we're gonna play it for the first time here today.
Yeah, it's going to
Yeah.
be the first time it's actually been played on any radio station.
Really,
Yeah.
first time. That's brilliant.
It's
That's
a
brilliant.
fantastic opportunity. I'm very humbled myself that you're playing it for me.
Thank you, John. Thank you for letting us having this opportunity to play about Pele. I told you over the phone, didn't I? I said, look, I said, Pele is such a coincidence because we talk about Pele all the time. And then when he called me, I thought someone told you about, you know, our story with Pele. And then when I spoke to you on the phone, you're like, no, I never heard it. I don't know anything. I was like, it's such a coincidence. So you have to come in, and then we play, we talk about it and all that. And then how did you get involved with it? Because obviously you wrote this song. You're not a singer, I believe.
Well, yeah, I hardly ever sing. I'm not a great singer. I have sung on a couple of my songs that I've just recently recorded, but I'm definitely not on this one.
Okay.
So.
But so you're not a singer. You start to play the guitar.
Yeah.
You're an inspirational man because what you are, because you started writing a song this year,
Yeah.
and then you sorted out a Portuguese lady to sing the song.
That's
You
correct.
got a Brazilian guy to play the guitar,
Correct.
and you had to produce and mix everything together. You put everything together, which is not easy. And then now you're in a radio station in the same year about Pele, and he's talking about music. This is brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Is it something that you always wanted to do, music?
No, I literally decided back in September last year that I was going to pick up the guitar because I needed something to do in the winter because the days get very short here,
Yeah.
and so I thought I need to do something during all those dark hours.
Yeah.
So I picked up the guitar and started to just with a basic songbook and had basic chords, so very easy to sort of get to grips with. And away I went, and then more recently I've actually got myself a guitar teacher to try and teach me how to play.
How are you
to
getting on?
groove.
How are you getting on now?
I'm still terrible at guitar, but I keep writing songs. So I've written so far 13 songs.
That's
So
brilliant.
in what, about 10 months?
Really? So,
Yeah.
How do you have inspiration to write a song? Do you go down the beach for like a quiet day, and then before you get some inspiration, what do you do?
Yeah, actually, quite often I've done it when I'm actually on holiday or coming back on the plane or going somewhere. I've got a notebook with me, and I suddenly think, I'm going to choose a subject, and a lot of the songs. I mean, the Pele song is actually a bit of an exception. Most of the songs I've written are based on my own experiences.
Oh, okay.
When I say that, if you think about it, I did have experience with Pele in that he was my hero.
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
That's what made me. And when he passed away a year ago, on the 29th of December 2022.
Yeah.
You know, I had quite a big, very big impact on me. And I thought, do you know what, I'm going to write a song about my hero. And I'm not only going to write it and have it recorded in English, I'll have it recorded in Portuguese as well. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you know, Pele's from Brazil, and that's the language.
So so this song we've got on in Portuguese.
Yeah.
And in English.
It's in English.
So who sang the English version?
So there's a chap called Graham Noon who also helps me with my recordings, and he's a keyboard player and he's a Portuguese singer. Yeah. Is in both the English and the Portuguese versions. In the Portuguese version, she does all the singing. Yeah. In the English version, she comes in at various points. So it's quite a nice mix of Portuguese and English.
This is brilliant.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? Should we play now and then we get other people to participate? Because I've got another guest on the show. Quickly, we're gonna talk about veneers. You know the chief veneers they do in Turkey. Right. We're gonna have a sponsor talking to us in a minute called Med Finders. Right. They're gonna talk to us very briefly about you know what goes behind it, the work goes behind it. A lot of people don't know how safe it is. Some people think it's really not safe to do it. So, but we're gonna talk to him in a minute. He's in Turkey now. He's a doctor as well. And then we come back. So should we do the English version first? Or the Brazilian version first?
Do the Brazilian version. This is the Brazilian radio station. Do the Brazilians. Yeah.
So we do the Brazilian, and then we talk about the English one afterwards. Sure. Yeah? So how do I find it on here easy? Is that Maverick?
So if you go on Spotify, if you go on the Maverick band.
Yeah.
And then
your band's called the Maverick, right?
The Maverick Band.
Okay. Yeah. The Maverick Band. I found it. Nice. You've got a few songs in there. Yeah. I love Coffee Culture.
Yeah, you
My
should
English
play that
Rose.
one at some point. Yeah,
it is good.
My English Rose. That's my wife's song.
Is it? That's brilliant, man. There is, and then you've got A Lonely Homeless Christmas.
Yeah, that'll be a very interesting. I'm launching 2 Christmas songs together. A very happy, cheerful Christmas song, and the one you've just read out. Because there's a big story about that.
So we're gonna play. You're gonna have to come back at Christmas time, man.
I will, and I'll tell you all about the 2 Christmas songs.
That's
there's a
brilliant.
Very big story in that one as well.
Let's play Pelé, o menino do Brasil, ok? Então vamos lá, the Maverick Band, verified artist on Spotify as well. Pelé, o menino do Brasil, aqui na Rádio Mais Brasil UK. propaganda, nada não, porque realmente é muito bom mesmo. Eu fui lá fazer primeiro aí os meus implantes, né? Tive que fazer implante dois aqui na parte de baixo e dois na parte de cima. Aí tem que esperar cicatrizar, porque eles querem fazer a coisa muito bem feita, fazer a coisa do jeito que deve ser feita. E aí eu voltarei o mês que vem para fazer os veneers aí, as facetas dentárias de zircônia, que é a melhor, é a última a tecnologia aí. E você vê até eles fazendo em 3D, gente, é espetacular. Sinceramente, vale a pena. Fala, Neto, eu não quero colocar as facetas, mas eu quero aí arrumar meus dentes aí de outra forma, né? Fazer aí outro procedimento dentário. Lá eles fazem tudo com a última tecnologia. E como o Honor disse aqui, 70% o valor mais barato lá na Turquia do que aqui na Inglaterra. Realmente, aqui não é que é caro, é o valor da Inglaterra, né? O valor padrão. Mas lá você consegue aí fazer pelo menos aí as veneers aí muito mais barato. Então, assim, vale a pena mesmo, tá? Ó, nós vamos então aqui pro intervalo rapidinho, rapidinho. A gente volta, galera do YouTube aí, a gente volta com o John Crystal aqui para falar mais de música, mais sobre a música do Pelé, e nós vamos tocar ainda Pelé, The Boy from Brazil, daqui a pouquinho na programação. E eu quero anunciar aqui antes de ir pro intervalo o sorteio que a gente vai fazer em prol aí, para um jantar, né, das semeadores de Maratane. Eu quero que você aproveitar a audiência aqui agora, gente. Olha que legal, deixa eu aproveitar agora e trazer aqui para você. Deixa eu pegar aqui como que você vai participar desse sorteio aqui agora. Vai lá e manda para mim aqui no WhatsApp. Eu quero, tá bom? Você vai mandar eu quero no WhatsApp e você vai mandar também. Além de mandar eu quero aqui no WhatsApp da rádio, você vai lá no Semeadores de Maratane no Instagram, tá? E você vai entender agora aqui que eu vou trazer as regras para você, tá? A Vanessa mandou, a Isabel mandou aqui para mim também. Muito obrigado. Deixa eu pegar, a Vanessa tá aqui, obrigado. Olha que legal, um convite, né? De uma feijoada e caminhada, oferecimento da Solidation UK. É um fundraising, né, da feijoada no sábado agora, dia 28 de outubro, das 6 horas da tarde às 10 horas da noite. Vai lá que você vai curtir, mas aqui na rádio você vai também ganhar, viu? Vai ganhar aí para duas pessoas, né, esse jantar que fica ali em Beckenham, lá no St. Edmunds Hall, BR33NA, para você, além de ir para a feijoada, você pode participar também aí da caminhada, participar com eles aí, mas o ticket aqui é para o jantar, então você vai ganhar aí, para duas pessoas esse jantar maravilhoso, basta mandar eu quero aqui que você vai estar concorrendo e a gente vai fazer o sorteio no final do programa, beleza? Se você quiser comprar tickets também, chama a gente aí no WhatsApp da rádio pro jantar. Ou eu posso passar da Maria, da Isabel ou da Luciana. E claro, caminhada lá com meu parceiro Marcelo também. Claro, ajudando aí essas crianças lá na África, como o Marcelo Colombo trouxe aqui pra gente alguns meses atrás. Semeadores de Maratane é uma organização aí, né? Um grupo de amigos que estão aí ajudando as crianças em Maratane, lá em Moçambique. Sensacional o trabalho que eles fazem. Eu sou fã número 1. Parabéns mesmo. Então vamos ajudar a gente, não vamos deixar de ajudar. Mas aqui na rádio você está ganhando aí esse jantar. Basta mandar eu quero aqui agora no WhatsApp da rádio. Manda eu quero aqui. E, claro, né, dá uma seguida lá nos Semeadores de Maratane no Instagram, na Rádio Mais Brasil Oficial. Mas manda eu quero aqui no WhatsApp da rádio que você vai estar concorrendo. Basta mandar eu quero, vai estar concorrendo e no final a gente vai estar sorteando aqui para você ao vivaço na programação, beleza? Combinado? Vamos então ali pro intervalo rapidinho, eu volto com o John daqui a pouquinho na pegada de sexta-feira. Daquele jeito que o Brasil gosta, daquele jeito que você aí do outro lado está comigo aí, né? Pedindo música, pedindo abraço, tem muito abraço para dar aqui. Vamos de Capital Inicial, daqui a pouco eu tô de volta, não saia daí.
and the sort of things we should really be, doing, and things we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And we need people like him to really have a big voice out
Yeah.
there to try and get the politicians to really get their act
Yeah.
together, which they're not really, unfortunately.
Yeah, as we talking about Pele in football as well, John, which one is the British, obviously English, footballer for you, the best ever?
For me, it was Bobby Charlton.
Bobby Charlton.
And I'd forgotten how good his goal, like Pele, his goals were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Obviously, he passed away literally within the last week.
Yeah.
And he, again, he was also my hero, because my father brought me up on the basis that Manchester United were a fantastic team, and obviously after they had the airplane crash, that kind of made them even more special.
Yes.
And Bobby Charlton survived it and went on to be a fantastic player. And as I say, I watched some of the on the TV. I watched some of the goals that he'd scored in the past, and they were absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, he would hit the ball so hard, so quickly, and if you look at a lot of them, the goalkeepers are literally standing still. They don't know what's hit them. The ball literally flies past them.
Yes.
That's the kind of power he was driving. But he wasn't goal hanging. He would run up and then literally take a shot from outside the box, and quite often put it in the top left-hand corner.
Yes.
It was extraordinary.
Yes.
And like Pele, they both had this magic skill. I don't know how many times they met or played against each other.
Yeah.
Someone asked me that question last night, and I said, I don't actually know, but I'm sure they did.
They did,
play
yeah.
each other against each other
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
a few times in both playing for England, Brazil, and no doubt I'm sure Manchester United would have played against some of the Brazilian teams.
And why do you think England won the 1966 World Cup?
Yeah.
Were you about then, or
I was 4.
you were 4? You were 4. All right, okay.
But you still have that.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, even at 4, you're already starting to take things in. So you do
Yeah.
have that sort of little bits of of memory about things.
Yeah. What about the atmosphere like when you grew up? England, because they won the World Cup,
Yeah.
so English fans probably thought we are still the best in the world, but things kind of changed, didn't it?
They
Yeah.
have. There are some fantastic players, and I think as English people, we're all hoping that that one day we'll still win the World Cup again.
Yeah,
No,
but
it's
you
still
nearly
there.
did it last World Cup, to be fair.
I got
Harry
close,
Kane,
got
yeah.
close.
Semi-finals, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
England is
good.
getting there. We get,
Yeah.
obviously my second team will be England, the second nation, because
Yeah.
I've been here 20 years. I think I've lived more in England than in my own country. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I got here I was 14. So about the song,
Yeah.
I see you got loads of like notes in there. Tell me more about them.
Okay, so I guess a little bit of background about myself, if that'll help you. I mentioned I started learning the guitar a year ago, and started writing within about 8 weeks. And I think I basically decided I was going to set up a band, and I looked around and decided what kind of band name are we going to have, and it's you'd be surprised, most band names are taken as far as I can see.
Really?
So I thought, I finally came and found the Maverick as a name, and I thought, yeah, that's spot on, because I am a Maverick myself. I don't like rules. I never like rules, and I hate being told what to do. by other
Is
people.
that what it means?
Yeah,
Maverick.
Maverick
Yeah.
tends to do their own thing, and
Okay.
they kind of go. So I thought that'll be great. So so I chose Maverick, and then realised that it had to be called the Maverick Band, because someone else had Maverick or Mavericks
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
So anyway, so we went on from there, and basically the band is really, I'm a 100% band member.
Yeah.
And I call it a virtual reality band.
Okay.
Because what I do is having written the song and got my basic tune sorted,
Yeah.
I then decide the kind of person I need to help with that song. So, for example, with the Boy from Brazil, I wanted to do the Portuguese version.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, so I would like to have someone who is Brazilian to do that. So I found a chap called Luis Morai, who's Brazilian, lives in England, and is a specialist Brazilian guitarist. And he plays unusually, I think it's unusual, but it may not be in Brazil. It is a 7-string guitar. And he is a fantastic player. So I thought, right, so we've got the right person to play that lovely kind of Brazilian, I call it Latino style,
Yeah.
which I wanted. And then we needed to find a
Like this.
Yeah. it.
It's brilliant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. And then obviously I wanted someone to sing it in Portuguese. So we then managed to find Inês Lobet, who's a Portuguese singer. She's from Portugal as opposed to Brazil, but she has and she was recommended to me, to be fair, by Luis, and he said, you want to listen to her. She has got a really good voice.
Yeah.
So we heard some of her recordings, and we thought this is the lady who can really deliver.
Yeah.
The song
And
that we want
where
in
did you
Brazilian.
find them?
Sorry.
Where did you find them? You search for people online?
So
or?
I asked friends if they know people, and then a friend of mine who's actually having guitar lessons was having guitar lessons coincidentally by a Brazilian chap, and he basically recommended Luis for me to meet. And that's what we did, and I thought, these guys again. He sent me his music down. And
then did you have to meet up, you three, or what did you do?
Yeah, basically, actually, you're not gonna believe this, but with Luis, he came down to the recording studio.
Yeah.
I'd already sent him the music and the words, so he knew, and he helped me just to, and I had the actual lyrics translated into Portuguese.
Yeah.
But he said, it is in Portuguese, but it's not the way a Brazilian would say it.
Yeah.
So he was very good and eloquent in terms of making it Brazilian. Giving it the Brazilian sound. The normal
otherwise it wouldn't make sense.
No, I could show you. I had it with me earlier, but I could show you the way it came out as a translation, and then how he changed it, and you can see some quite marked differences.
So he really helped.
Localisms, isn't it? And the way a Brazilian would say something as opposed to the way a dictionary person would say it.
Yes.
So that was really good. And then with Inês, Inês actually did her recording in London. She lives in London, and she recorded in her own studio. She has a studio, and she liaised directly with the studio where we were having the whole song put together.
Yeah.
And so she sent all her files, which I'd never come across this before because I'm very new to all this recording. And writing music sort of stuff. So I was very surprised that this could be done. And my recording guy said, no, I do this with people all over the world. They send me their music or the instruments they've played or their voices, and I just put it all together in the mixing studio.
Yeah.
Which I thought was absolutely fantastic.
That's brilliant.
That's how we did it, really.
That's really, and then because not just it's very hard normally. They release a song in one language, and then if it works out, they will do it in another language.
Sure.
But this time you did it both at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to do it, because then it's ready. It's just there. And English people can enjoy it, and Brazilian people at the same time, isn't
Absolutely.
it? So
yeah, that's right. And with the English version, Inês is actually singing or saying some of the words in that to give it still that Brazilian feel. So it's not all in English. That when you play it later, you'll hear her voice in there as well, in speaking in Portuguese. So that's really what we did. And as you know, now you've played the song. The whole song is really about Pele's life. It's that journey from being a young lad, learning football with his dad.
It's sort of
based on experience and tend to be written as stories.
Yeah.
So the story, the first song I wrote, the one about my wife, that is literally about our lives, how I met her, how she impressed me, how I fell in love with her, going on to then having our own kids, then having grandkids.
Amazing.
As you know, I'm very young, but but having grandkids, and where will it go from there? So
but you know what, Maverick, the name Maverick. When I looked, I think you sent a message online.
Yeah.
Maverick. The word Maverick sounds young, doesn't it?
Well, yes.
No.
I'm young at heart.
No.
I am young at heart.
No, but I thought it would be. I thought it would be something like someone like, I don't know, a teenager.
Yeah.
Know. Yeah. But it sounds
There's
young.
still a teenager in here, I can assure you. It's just waiting to get out.
That's brilliant. How long you been married then?
I'm coming up to next year will be our 40th.
40 years married, mate.
Yeah.
You need to come on the radio to give you come on the radio to give life advice. Let's go. Look, YouTube. Look, guys. He's been married 40 years. He has to come back and tell people what it's like to.
Crikey.
It's pretty good. 40 years and you got
Yeah.
grandkids. Amazing. Well done,
Yeah.
mate. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna go. We're gonna talk. Basically, what we're doing now is a draw. People are saying "eu quero" on the WhatsApp. It means I want it. I want to go for the dinner. We basically doing a. It's not really a raffle. It's a draw where I told people to send a message on WhatsApp. Say I want to go for the dinner. There is a place called. Semeadores de Maratani. Maratani is a town, a small place, like a village in Mozambique, where a lot of kids need help.
Right.
You know, so they're doing this charity work where this group of people go out there and they bring food and mostly, I think most of the time they bring more clothes to them, but obviously they help out with food and everything. So these people are doing this dinner, you know, to raise money for charity for these guys. So now they're gonna they're basically giving away a couple of tickets for this dinner party tomorrow night. So I said, look, just guys, just send a message on a WhatsApp saying "eu quero" means I want it, and then you kind of part of it. You basically competing here, and we're gonna do it at the end of the. We're gonna choose a name. We can't really choose. We like sort of like pick a name at the end. And then Isabel sent a voice message about that. Isabel Rodrigues, que é membro lá do Semeadores de Maratane há 4 anos e está aqui agradecendo aí, né, pelo trabalho da Rádio Mais Brasil UK com um projeto maravilhoso. Um abraço aí também, especial para meu amigo Marcelo Colombo. Vamos ouvir a Isabel aqui.
Boa tarde, Neto. Boa tarde, Rádio Mais Brasil. Boa tarde a todos os ouvintes. O meu nome é Isabel Rodrigues, sou membro dos Semeadores de Maratane há 4 anos e com o coração cheio de gratidão quero agradecer em primeira mão ao Neto pela disponibilidade que tem para connosco. Ele tem sido uma grande ajuda. Com a ajuda dele nós temos feito algo a mais para com estas crianças na parte da divulgação. Realmente é uma parte muito importante para nós que sejamos divulgados, porque com a divulgação nós conseguimos mais doações. E além das doações, nós conseguimos fazer chegar mais alimentos, medicamentos e roupas para os mais frágeis. Neste momento também estamos a trabalhar com um hospital pediátrico de bebés desnutridos, então isso faz com que a gente tenha uma responsabilidade maior para com este projeto. E ao mesmo tempo quero desejar também boa sorte aos ouvintes que ligarem para a Rádio Mais Brasil para ganhar os 2 convites para esse fantástico jantar que vamos realizar amanhã à noite. Desde já, boa sorte e muito obrigado. O bem-aja a todos os ouvintes que nos ajudam a fazer algo mais para estas crianças. Dar-nos realmente a possibilidade de um amanhã melhor para eles. Gratidão, muito obrigado.
Boa, valeu, minha querida Isabel, tamo junto, olha, então é o seguinte, galera, tem que mandar eu quero aqui no WhatsApp da rádio, manda agora no WhatsApp, agora, são 1h30, horário aqui do Reino Unido, você vai mandar eu quero, Neto, como que eu participo? O número do WhatsApp, gente, tá lá no site radiomaisbrasil.com, ou se você baixou o aplicativo aí, tem um ícone do WhatsApp, você vai clicar e já vai sair aqui na minha frente e você vai estar participando aqui ao vivo em prol dos Semeadores de Maratane, beleza? Vamos então ali rapidinho, eu vou ali e já volto, não saia daí. Rádio Mais Brasil, que é a sua rádio brasileira aqui no Reino Unido. Vamos de música, daqui a pouco eu vou, porque é sexta-feira e tem coisa boa, tem música boa dela, Simone Mendes, que tem música nova, 2 Fugitivos, não saia daí. Yeah! De volta! Na pegada da sexta-feira! Ao som de cerveja! É, bebê! Pode olhar aí, quase 2 da tarde. Quem fez, fez. Quem não fez, meu amigo.
Hoje é sexta-feira, traga mais cerveja.
Do you like this song, John?
I think it's got great rhythm. I love it. I'm dancing to it. Watch.
Yeah! É, by Leandro Leonardo, cerveja. You know what cerveja means?
Yeah, nice beer. Love it. Dame 2 cervezas, por favor.
Yes.
Obrigado.
Aê, boa! Sexta-feira, boa, 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 na pegada aqui do nosso Lunchtime Show. Tô aqui com o John Crystal, contando a história de vida dele aqui pra mim, gente. Sinceramente, né, com a gente, quem não vê cara, não vê coração, né? Cada história legal que ele tá contando pra mim aqui. Tô bem feliz, very happy to have you here today, John. Very, very good to meet you because our radio obviously is pretty much 100% in Portuguese. And then we have a few guests a month that we can talk in English. But from now on, more and more, I want to have more British in the radio because, you know, we are Brazilians that live in UK. So, you know, most Brazilians are listening now. They understand English anyway. So why not just engage and mix cultures, isn't it?
Sure, absolutely. I think having both is a very balanced approach to it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. From now on, we're going to start doing more and more.
I'll come.
Well,
I'll come again.
That's it. We've got a message from Vanessa, loving the radio and loving the Brazilian songs. She lives in Wakefield, near Leeds. Oh, how cool is that? Near Leeds. Thank you, Vanessa. She's also from Semeadores em Maratane. Thank you. Really good. Muito obrigado aqui a galera que tá curtindo aqui a programação, galera aí da região de Southampton, muito obrigado aqui, galera que tá ouvindo lá, mandando mensagem aqui também, adorando o bate-papo, galera aí do Brasil que tá curtindo aí. Do you know where I've got listeners here from? It's so good. From Manaus, in Brazil, near the Amazon.
Wow, that
Very
is
cool,
fantastic.
isn't it?
That is cool.
The power of the internet, John.
It's such a cool device, isn't it?
You were just telling me that when you retired, you didn't get all this.
No.
You got nothing, and
We
you
had paper
retired.
and a pen.
You retired on the old way. Now, you know, would you still make the same amount of money? That actually you could, like 10 times more, actually, because of the internet.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Hard to tell right now.
That's
We'll
pretty
see.
good. That's pretty good. A galera tá mandando aqui, ó, Birmingham as well, listening to us. Stoke. I don't know where this one is from. It's Stoke Newington. Do you know that?
No, I don't.
It's Stoke Newington. Must be a small area somewhere. Um abraço pra você aí. Galera aqui de Londres, claro, de Acton. Galera de Bournemouth também, muito obrigado pra você aí que quer churrasco pra esse final de semana. Não perca essa oportunidade. Vai lá no Rio Café, em Bournemouth. Lá tem açougue, produtos brasileiros, tem tudo lá pra você, do lado da praia. Gente, vai lá agora, fala com a Thalita, fala com o Juliano Galo, lá na Speed Fast Money Transfer. Viu o seu dinheiro agora com muita credibilidade e segurança. 1 Brazilian reais now is 5.87 in Brazilian money. So 1 pound is 5.87 Brazilian reais. So it's good. It's still very good. So it's nearly 6 times. Obviously, with the inflation, things in Brazil are quite expensive too. But some stuff that we buy in England is so cheap compared to Brazil. E aquela libra que você manda mais rápido aqui, que chega rapidinho, igual o Pix, tá 5,75. Então envia o seu dinheiro agora pelo Speed Fast Money Transfer, baixa o aplicativo, vai lá agora pra gente dar aquela moral e, claro, né, exaltar mais uma empresa, aliás, a empresa que exalta a comunidade brasileira aqui. Speed Fast Money Transfer enviou, chegou. Relembrando as músicas antigas brasileiras, claro. Muito obrigado aí pra você que tá ligado aqui. E depois eu vou trazer o feedback da Uninter Europa. Após a rádio anunciar a Uninter, tem aí ouvinte que começou na Uninter e já tá adorando. Vou trazer esse feedback aí na semana que vem. Semana que vem eu tenho muito convidado ainda. Antes de eu fazer essa viagem aí, a rádio, né, vai estar presente lá em Boston. E eu vou trazer tudo a partir aí de segunda-feira. Gente... antes da gente tocar o som do John aqui, do Maverick Band aqui, tem que avisar vocês também que, para você ainda que não está participando aqui para concorrer, né, a esse jantar de amanhã à noite em Beckenham, vai lá agora e manda eu quero no WhatsApp da rádio, né? Já tem aqui a Kiss, deixa eu pegar aqui quem tá mandando aqui pra mim. Não, é porque mandou aqui, ó. A Ana tá ligada aqui comigo. A Ana, obrigado. A Edivânia tá ligada. A Ivonete tá ligada. O João também tá ligado aqui. O Thiago de Salvâmbito tá ligado também, mandando eu quero. Todo mundo mandando eu quero aqui no WhatsApp da rádio. Faça igual eles e manda lá agora. Eu quero que... Mandou eu quero, já tá concorrendo aqui a esse jantar dos semeadores de Maratane amanhã à noite. Inclusive, vai lá para você saber mais do trabalho deles aí. Trabalho voluntário maravilhoso, @semeadores de Maratane. Maratane, que é uma cidade lá em Moçambique. Então, não perca essa oportunidade para você estar com a gente aí e ajudar a gente, que você nem imagina o que você pode fazer, viu? Ô, meu amigo John, let's talk about your English song now. So, at first, I believe that you wrote the song in English.
That's correct, yeah.
The lyrics just came up to your head, or you started to build up a story based on the research that you started doing on the internet as well.
That's correct. I did for this particular song, I needed to understand, Pele's life and his background, etc. So yeah, I went on the internet. Wikipedia is quite useful amongst other things, and it basically showed me that Pele, which I didn't realise. I thought Pele's name was Pele until I looked it up, and then it told me that actually he wasn't christened Pele. He was actually christened Edson. And he was, and it was his friends that called him Pele, and they called him Pele apparently because he couldn't pronounce a particular football player's name that he was very sort of a keen follower of, and that's how his name. That's how I understand it. So that was interesting in itself. And then obviously through the research, you then start to learn that he was chosen for Santos football team at the age of 16, which is unbelievable. And then at 17, he was already playing for Brazil.
17 at the World Cup.
17 playing for Brazil.
1958.
Yeah, that's right, 1958. And then won his first World Cup. And not only that, he then went on to win another 2 World Cups, or played for Brazil in the team that won 2 more World Cups in 62 and 1970.
Yeah.
And, he was voted Player of the Century, which is really an incredible accolade. Yeah.
He was voted, not just that, I think there was another one by UN, or the Athlete of the Century. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's something, isn't it?
So it was really, really something. So that just tells you what gravitas Pele had as a player. Absolutely super.
Yeah, Pele also, it's good to talk about this, John, that Pele, there was a TV program in Brazil that they put him on spots around the world. So let's say Pele went to, I don't know, in China, in Peking, and one day, in the middle of like centralized area, and then obviously Rio de Janeiro, and then New York, places like that, Tokyo, and they say, how many seconds is it going to take before someone recognizes Pele? I'm telling you, it's on YouTube, this. It took, most of the time, average, took no more than 20 seconds. No more than 20 seconds.
That's amazing.
They put him on one spot. He stood up by himself. 20 seconds, someone went, "It's Pele."
Even in China.
Yeah.
That just shows you.
They put it on each corner of the world. And let's see how many seconds it would take. 20 seconds.
Yeah. Well, that just shows. And in a way, that's the reason for the song. The song is to remember Pele for what a great player he was, and you know, it was coming up to his first anniversary on the 29th of December. It's to celebrate his life, and we also want to remember him as the legend and not forget him.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that, you know, radio stations, you know, like My Brazil and stations in Brazil and around the world will play this song every year around his around the anniversary of his passing.
Yes.
Because we want to remember him for what a fantastic player he was, really, and a real legend. And he deserves an accolade.
When I met Pele in Bolton years ago, I met this guy called Richard. He's British, and he was such a fan. For him, when I interviewed him, he said, "This is the best day of my life because I met my hero." Yeah. I couldn't believe he's in Bolton.
You're the same, right?
Yeah.
When you met him, you felt exactly the same.
The same, you know. But hearing about someone that is not from Brazil, you know, like Richard was, and I was like, you know, this really means something, you know, and talking about Brazilian people, they need to remember that Pelé is the biggest of all the Brazilians that ever alive, you know, because he took the name of Brazil at places that no one's ever heard of, you know, especially back in the day. We didn't have internet. Sure. They didn't know what Brazil was. They didn't have a picture of Brazil or nothing, but they remember Pelé. Pele's name came before the name of Brazil to places in Africa, you know, and they liked the rhythm and the dance and the way Pele used to do the ball, the goals. So, you know, it just goes to think that with football, it shows a whole culture of the Brazilians back in the day. Not anymore because, you know, things changed, but we're still getting a few young players that, you know, kind of reminds a bit of the old players. But back in the day, there were so many of them like Pele, and Pele kind of went because he was above average. But back in the day, we had like loads of players used to dance with the ball, like Garrincha, Falcao, you know, them players. And now you don't really see anyone like that.
The art of Jenga that we were talking about. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I think if Brazil loses that fantastic street football dancing skill, their game will, and maybe it has already started to change, but if they can reverse that and bring that back, I think it will make a big difference. They need to, don't they?
They need to understand, whoever manages Brazil next, they need to understand that they need to go back to the roots of football. Yeah. Stop copying European, you know, just do with the ball whatever you want to do. Like back in the day, there wasn't much tactics, you know, they were there. Obviously there was, because you have to, but more like go with it, do what you can, do what you want, dance to the ball. If it was today, what Garrincha used to do, like dancing, he used to leave the ball one spot, run, he would get, you know, the press would torture him, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think the problem with managers, if I'm honest with you, is that they manage.
Yeah.
And what they do is they manage out the natural skill and ability that a lot of players have, and it's not just in football. I see it. I'm a rugby supporter.
Yeah.
And you know, we've got the Rugby World Cup with the final tomorrow, and if you watch, England is a classic. They have literally sort of trained them into being like robotic rugby players, and I think that's the problem with football as well. You know, you end up with the players being told what the manager wants them to do, but not letting them keep that fantastic, flamboyant, natural skill that, you know, Pele and all his compatriots had in the day. Yeah, it's literally taken out of them. And anyone who comes into the game now with those natural skills, the young ones, then very quickly the managers say, "Oh no, you've got to do it this way. You've got to do the best. You've got to." And it completely kills them off. You see, all the natural skill just goes.
It's because it's all about money. They want to sell him to big clubs in Europe. That's why.
You're being cynical.
So let's just people are nice ones. So what should we do? Right. I think this is the time where we play the English song. Then, yeah. Let's play Pele from Brazil, from written by John Crystal by the Maverick Band. For the first time aqui, ó, em inglês, na rádio Mais Brasil UK. Pele The Boy from Brazil. Doing across the UK and Africa.
Fala Neto, bom dia, bom dia. Olha só, tentei ligar agora na Semeadores de Maratã felizmente não existe mais, já venderam todas as feijoadas.
Uau!
É um grande sucesso e graças a Deus as pessoas compraram e estão participando, estão ajudando com essa causa tão nobre que é da Semeadores de Maratane. Mas eu não consegui comprar feijoada, mas mesmo assim eu fiz a minha contribuição, já mandei lá, comprei minha feijoada, mas é para ajudar mesmo essa causa tão legal que essa galera trabalha e luta tanto para cuidar das crianças aí no Brasil e pelo mundo, e essas crianças que tanto precisam da nossa ajuda. Valeu, Neto, valeu, galera, vamos ajudar.
Boa, valeu, Léo. Léo just contributed to Semeadores de Maratane lá no jantar, lembrando que, né, parabéns aí, lembrando que a galera acabou lá, mas aqui tem um par de ingressos aqui para esse jantar, então para você aí, ó, que ainda não mandou eu quero, eu vou te dar mais uma oportunidade, manda eu quero aqui agora no WhatsApp da rádio, que eu vou para um rápido intervalo e volto pro último bloco aqui do programa Lunchtime Show de hoje, dessa sexta-feira maravilhosa, sempre um programa muito especial de 27 de outubro de 2023. Manda aí pra mim agora, daquele jeito, manda aí, eu quero no WhatsApp da rádio, que você não pode ficar fora dessa, beleza? Vamos de música, Resiliência, alô Ivonete Viana, tribo da periferia.
Se meus fracassos não ensinassem tanto, se minhas lágrimas não põem à prova, acho que o segredo de vencer na vida talvez é compreender sua dor de agora. Ninguém nasceu no topo
né? E claro, tem tudo lá para você no site, são mais de 100 marcas brasileiras aí para você escolher, Natura ou Boticário, Salon Line, Boca Rosa, entre outras. A Ida Beauty também é representante oficial dos produtos Desinchar. Tudo a pronta entrega agora e você pode parcelar em até 3 vezes comprando pelo website. Vai lá agora, www.idabeauty.co.uk. E o principal, que é bem fácil e tem desconto, baixe nosso aplicativo, @IdaBeauty, o aplicativo na Apple Store e Google Play. Só colocar IDA, Beauty, UK, que você vai achar, beleza? Maravilha, maravilha, sensacional aqui para você que tá ligado aqui na programação da Rádio Mais Brasil, ok? Agora é a hora do sorteio, antes da gente trazer aqui a mensagem final do meu amigo John Crystal aqui, que sensacional, muito obrigado. Vamos remarcar com o Mac aqui, Mac McDonald, que ele vai vir num outro programa, tivemos que remarcar aí devido à crise do transporte público aqui em Londres. Hoje, a partir das 3 horas da tarde, o Rafael chega quebrando tudo aqui no programa High Profile, ao vivo, na Rádio Mais Brasil UK. Preparando aqui o nosso sorteio, agora, e vou sortear também a bola da Nike, viu, gente? Então, 2 sorteios aqui, a partir de agora, já vamos sortear já para você ganhar aquela bola da Nike aí, agora, ou da Adidas, né? Você vai escolher, que ontem foi no Mais Brasil Esportes, e sortear agora para a pessoa primeiro do jantar aqui, beleza? Vamos que vamos, deixa eu pegar, já tinha computado todos os nomes aqui, agora, deixa eu pegar aqui agora os números, colocar aqui o number, a picker aqui para vocês, deixa eu colocar agora ao vivo para você no YouTube também aí ligado, vem com a gente que eu vou colocar aqui ao vivo, obrigado, que legal, deixa eu pegar aqui, tem várias pessoas aqui concorrendo, então eu vou colocar agora aqui quantas pessoas são, eu acho que é melhor colocar o name picker, né? O nome aqui, name picker para vocês, que eu já tinha colocado aqui o Wheel of Names. Olha que legal, sensacional. Olha, já tem aqui a Ana que está participando, né? A Ana já está participando aqui com a gente, né? Temos aí Ivonete também, né? Os nomes aqui que estão participando aqui também. Deixa eu pegar os outros nomes aqui. O Tiago também, lá de Southampton, ligado aqui, Tiago Southampton, muito obrigado aí, meu irmão. Rapaz, amanhã, hein, que vai ser esse jantar a partir das 6 horas da tarde, lá em Beckenham, né, Beckenham também, a Edivânia também tá ligada e concorrendo, Edivânia Paula, muito obrigado que mandou, eu quero aqui também, eu tenho aqui também, ó, deixa eu pegar mais nomes, a Mara também aqui tá ligada. Obrigado. A Dádila tá concorrendo aqui também. Obrigado. Dádila concorrendo. Fátima concorrendo. Gabriel concorrendo. Tem uma galera boa aqui mandando eu quero. Será que eu esqueci de mais alguém? Deixa eu pegar aqui. Vou voltar todas as mensagens aqui, gente. Muito obrigado aí pela audiência. Muito obrigado por todas as mensagens aqui na programação. Deixa eu pegar aqui. So many names que mandaram eu quero aqui. Obrigado. Valeu, Vanessa. Brigadão, viu? A Isabel, Vanessa, obrigado. Tem mais nomes aqui. Deixa eu pegar mais algum nome aqui que mandou. Tiago de Salvamento eu já coloquei. Roberto aqui é de Base Stock. Valeu, Roberto. Valeu. Tá aqui, ó. Tava lá embaixo aqui seu nome. Então é isso. Vamos sortear agora os nomes aqui para você ligado aí na programação da Rádio Mais Brasil UK. Vamos que vamos. Para você ligado aqui agora na programação da rádio, a gente está sorteando aqui um par de ingressos aí, né? Na verdade, um jantar para 2 pessoas aqui agora, tá, gente? Então, um jantar para 2 pessoas e eu já tenho uma ganhadora aqui. I've got a winner. Tá aqui, ó, gente. No YouTube, ao vivo, semeadora de maratane é a Ana. Tá aqui, ó. Vê se dá pra ver aqui. Eu vou colocar ali, ó. Aqui. Deu pra ver aí, né, gente? A Ana acaba de ganhar. Deixa eu mandar mensagem pra ela aqui. Ela ganhou aí, ó. A Ana... Deixa eu pegar. Eu quero... A Ana que eu acredito que é da Ana's Cakes, que é boa. Ana's Cakes aí, ó. Obrigado, Ana. Ganhou. Ana got the dinner for tomorrow. Então, well done, Ana. Well done. Tá aqui, ó. Pra você, ganhou. Obrigado, Ana. Aquele abraço pra você. Vou até mandar pra ela aqui agora, tirar foto. E a Ana acaba de ganhar aí essa jantar aqui, né? Amanhã lá no Semeadores de Maratane, por uma bela de uma causa. Parabéns, já tá lotado. Parabéns, Ana, que na Rádio Mais Brasil, ok? O povo só ganha, viu? Só ganha. Maravilha, maravilha aqui. Muito bom. Vou deixar aqui o nosso querido John mandar uma mensagem aqui pra gente e deixar recado final e a gente traz mais aí. Ô, querido John, thank you so much for coming today. Really good. We were listening on the background to one of your songs as well. Thank you so much for coming. Come back anytime you like. I'm sure you'll be back many times.
Obrigado, Neto. Desculpas, não falo português. I hope I got that right.
But you kind of understood pretty much everything, didn't you? Yeah, that's good, John. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I know, it took a long way with the transport as well. It's mental around London today.
It was.
Thank you so much for coming.
Pleasure. Thank
and
you.
well done. Carry on. It's really good. It's not just because it's from Brazil, and all that. And obviously you're on the radio because, of Pele and all that. But the other songs as well, they've got really good quality and the mix. Otherwise, it wouldn't even be on Spotify. Spotify, they quite... they pick, they're very picky with the quality of songs and that.
Yeah.
So, well done, carry on, and whenever you release something new, come here. But I'm sure you'll be back for Christmas, because you've got a song here called Christmas is Coming, and you've got a Lonely Homeless Christmas.
That's right. I'm going to tell you all the story about those two. They are joined at the hip, those two songs, and you'll understand why when I come back. Thank you so much.
That is brilliant. Well done. Really good. Galera que tá mandando aqui mensagem aqui. Now we got football. We're gonna give away from last night. People sent a voice message on our sports show last night, and now we're giving away a Nike ball or an Adidas football on our radio. There's so many names as well. Oh my God, we have to pick everyone. I'm gonna do that on Instagram. There are loads of names that say that I want the ball instead of sending in a voice message. We asked for a voice message, but people are lazy these days, aren't they? They just send a message. Let's say, all right, you all don't worry. I'll do it on Instagram today, I promise. John, thank you so much. Guys, thank you very, very much for today. Muito obrigado aí, cada um de vocês, tá? Que estiveram com a gente aqui, agradecendo essa semana mágica aqui da Rádio Mais Brasil UK. Sinceramente, agradecer a Deus aí em primeiro lugar, né? Porque a gente acredita muito em Deus e entende que as peças, né, que vão se encaixando aqui na rádio, tudo é Deus, né? Não é nada por acaso, né? O que tem acontecido aqui, realmente, momentos mágicos, momentos maravilhosos, momentos aí que a gente nunca quer que acabe, né? E a gente realmente faz isso aqui com muito amor, não somente eu falo em nome de toda a equipe da rádio. A gente fica muito feliz desde segunda-feira, quando a gente trouxe aí o Strider, né, aí na terça-feira com grandes convidados, quarta, quinta, sexta, Bruno Avelar, eventos, domínio digital, amanhã tem evento mais vivo do que nunca, a rádio que não para, literalmente as pessoas da rádio, elas estão doando a vida delas em prol de vocês aí que estão nos ouvindo. Então, muito obrigado mesmo. Um excelente final de semana a todos aí, tá? Um excelente final de semana a todos os amigos aí. Aproveitem bastante. Nesse final de semana teremos aí o Rafael hoje. Amanhã a gente está conversando aí com um novo programa para sábado. Vocês vão adorar. Quem vai apresentar aí um novo programa no sábado. Domingo de manhã teremos um reprise aí né, do Sintonia Gospel, não será ao vivo, será um reprise, até porque nosso pastor Cleiton Viana tem que dar aquela descansada. Segunda-feira eu tô de volta de manhã, terça e quarta. Aí eu terei um break aí de 2 dias aqui, porque estaremos ao vivo no Instagram lá também, diretamente dos Estados Unidos aí, com um grande evento que a rádio vai estar cobrindo, beleza? Muito obrigado, ótimo final de semana para todos aí. Eu espero que esse programa tenha sido bom para você, como ele foi para mim aqui na Rádio Mais Brasil UK. E nós vamos encerrar com a música Pelé, o Menino do Brasil. Não sai daí, daqui a pouco tem High Profile com a Rafael dos Santos. Um beijo para vocês. Bye, bye, galera!
Essa é a história de um menino.
That's it.
Well done, man.
Thank you.
Well done, you.